Alright, this is Tuesday's highlight video from GreatStockPicks.com. We had Sienna on watch. It's just been getting killed. Put in a nice narrow green candle on Monday. We were looking for it on a break of Monday's high, 1708. Okay, but here's what happened. Using 5-minute candles here, you can see the opening two candles right here from this morning. It gapped down, okay? But it wasn't very far, excuse me, it wasn't very far from yesterday's high, 1708, where was a point on our chart where we knew it could really get going if it took out yesterday's high. And I like the fact after the gap down, it had a nice narrow range. So I called it on a break of the early high right there with a stop right there at 1670. 1687 was the long idea. And I'll scroll to the right here. Let me get those lines off there. 1670 stop. So 17 cents risk. There's the high of day break. That was the entry. About 10 minutes later, nicely through yesterday's high and just kept climbing. Little red candle here, maybe a time to start taking some profits. But anyway, this one went all the way to 1761. So a 74-cent move in our favor on 17 cents risk. And also one of our new favorites, RIM. Certainly beaten up on the daily. Couple red days, so we had this on Bounce Watch. RIM, some of our members were grabbing it down here this morning. I like to wait for a low risk entry, and because I was messing with Sienna at the time, I missed RIM, but it popped up here. And then during this lunchtime pullback, it held up very well, and so I was still interested and went ahead and called RIM at 27.46, which is right in here. Worst case stop 22 cents below, did not get hit. So somewhere right about here, and the stop right there. And from 27.46 went all the way to 28.58. So $1.12 in our favor on 22 cents risk. And again, another example of one that didn't really look back. Had a few other decent trades today, but once that market starts grinding higher, you've got to ride what you caught. You know, these days where the market just grinds higher all day and then a lunchtime slowdown and they really close strong, it's hard to find new entries. Okay, once the SPY's made a move like this, it's hard to find new entries because a lot of stocks are just doing this. So, you know, I had somebody today say, hey, why didn't you have more calls? You know, once the market gets away from you, you've just got to manage what you've already traded. And RIM was a nice lunchtime or post-lunch call, but you really, there's no way of knowing. I think there's a website called hardrightedge.com, and the point of it is, at this point, there's no way of knowing. You've got to trade the right edge, right? The unknown. So it's easy to pop in at lunch and say, hey, why don't you have more trades under your belt? Well, you can only trade a couple stocks at a time, but it didn't matter to me because Sienna, RIM, we also called AMSC, now that I think about it. We're all working very nicely. Called AMSC right about here, 773. And it ended up going over 8, but it was grinding higher all day too. So once everything is grinding higher, you know, you're either chasing or you're riding up what you've already got. But I'm all about low risk entries. We found those today and they worked beautifully. So we will follow up tomorrow night, Wednesday evening, with what Wednesday's day trading highlights from our live chat room. So until then, have a good night and we'll talk to you later.